Okay, so in today's video I have got week 27 of my 365 days of art challenge, so if you want to see that, keep on watching. Okay, so I first of all started this week off with one that I've actually been avoiding for a little while, and I don't really know why, because it's actually, well, it was actually sort of a relatively simple one to kind of do. Basically you just had to sort of create your own skyline type of thing, and to be honest I did kind of go off of what was on the prompt, sort of like on the example page, just purely because obviously, as you can see along the side where I did another day on like the following page, it kind of messed up the paper for this side, so I wasn't really too bothered about this one because in my head I kind of had it that it was basically ruined anyway. So yeah, I just kind of went along with sort of what was already there on the opposite side and kind of made it a little bit my own, did it in my own sort of like sketching style. So yeah, I kind of just used it as a way of like practicing sort of my, yeah, like I say, my sketching style and that sort of thing. So yeah, that one didn't take too long. Obviously, as you could see on sort of the example page, it was all sort of like coloured in almost like a silhouette, but I decided to just kind of keep mine as an outline instead, which is probably not what you're supposed to do, but that's what I chose to do with mine. And then the second one that I did was a relatively simple one. It was just a little bit time consuming. So basically it just said to create some like fairy lights, and there were some example ones along the top of like different shapes and that sort of thing along the top. So I used my zebra fine liners, as you can see, and then just created a bunch of different shapes just sort of all over. So instead of sort of going in one long line, I just kind of picked up a colour and then yeah, just sort of ran along the lines with that one specific colour. So yeah, again, another relatively simple one. This one just took a tiny bit more time, but yeah, you could definitely sort of do this with any sort of like medium pencils, pens, paint, whatever you wanted to do. But obviously if you've watched these videos previously, then you'll know that I like doing a lot in the zebra fine liners. I just find them really convenient, so if there's ever a prompt where I can get my fine liners out, then I will, just because, yeah, like I say, I find them so much easier than getting paint out or even doing pencils. I feel like pencils just take more time. So yeah, the fine liners are definitely very convenient for things like this. But yeah, obviously, like I said, it was definitely very time consuming, and you can see by how long it's taking me here that it definitely did take a little while. Obviously it's not like a challenging task at all, so realistically you could sort of just sit down and do it and it would be fine. Yeah, you can sort of start it and not finish it and move back to it or whatever. It's not sort of like a mentally challenging one. It's not one that's gonna sort of demand loads of focus. You can pretty much just do it whilst doing something else, essentially. So yeah, the third one that I did was another one of basically just filling the page with one specific colour. So this colour that I was doing this time was red, even though I think because when I did the pink one I kind of mixed my red and white together to make pink. A lot of the sort of red watercolour ended up just coming out pink basically, but yeah, I did my usual sort of like mark making, and yeah, just sort of did random sort of squiggles around the page, but I also did a little strawberry like that's in the prompt, and then I also did some cherries as well, and then you can see here obviously I did some little love hearts with the zebra fine liners and just sort of filled the page up with little mark making squiggles and stuff like that. I don't know why, but whenever I do these specific prompts, like with the colours, I can never think of anything that is specifically that colour. So obviously, like in this instance, like cherries are red and so are strawberries, but other than that, I couldn't for some reason think of what else sort of like comes as red. I don't know, I just couldn't think. So that's sort of why I tend to do sort of like mark making to fill up those pages. But I really like how those pages look afterwards with the sort of like squiggles in them. So yeah, I don't mind that at all. And then the next one that I did here was filling these pots with some plants. So instead of doing like flowers or anything, I decided to do sort of like succulents. So we've got some in the Zebra Fine Liners and also some in watercolour, just using different greens and some different sort of mark making techniques. I don't really sort of make them look anything in particular, but obviously by the end they obviously make a piece that is semi-cohesive. So yeah. The next one that I did was basically drawing with charcoal and negative space. So I just shaded on this side of the page and then used the rubber to create an image. And then basically the image that I chose, or the object that I chose, was a Jellycat waffle, because it was just there right in front of me. I didn't put the face or arms or anything on it, I just did the actual waffle shape and then the berry that's sort of on the side of it. But obviously it's just quite effective to show the way that you can obviously use negative space and then use the like graphite pencil again to build up some of the shadows and make it a little bit more defined. So this next one is absolutely horrific, but basically it was a blind drawing, so I didn't look at the page while I was doing this, hence why it looks absolutely horrific. But this is supposed to be my boyfriend. But yeah, it's definitely not my best work, but my excuse is that I wasn't looking at the page. So yeah, I don't think it's too bad considering I wasn't really looking at what I was doing. I was kind of just looking at a photo of him instead, to kind of try and keep focused and keep track of what I was actually drawing. I did sort of look down a couple of times because I'd taken the pencil off the paper and kind of lost where I was going, and I didn't want it to be completely horrific and have like an ear halfway across the room, and you know, I wanted it to kind of look a little bit okay. But yeah, it's definitely not my best work. But anyway, moving on from that one, the last prompt that I did was actually a really fun one. I feel like these ones I put off quite a lot because I don't really know what to do. But I basically just filled the page with colourful beetles, I think it said. So yeah, I just kind of copied along from some of them that are put there anyway. And then yeah, I just used my watercolour paints to sort of pick the colours, and then I used my Zebra Fine Liners to create sort of the details on them, and then just used sort of like an actual like black fine liner to put the details in. And then yeah, that was that one done. And yeah, like I say, I actually really enjoyed that one, so I think I'm definitely going to do one of those again very soon. And then yeah, I just finished off doing what we usually do and just marking off all of this week's tasks. So that was week 27 of my 365 days of art challenge. Let me know down below which ones you liked and if you have any idea for future prompts. But other than that, make sure to like, comment and subscribe, and I will see you next time. Bye!